This is why cash flow positive property is a con. And I'm gonna get really roasted for this video, so I'm gonna put on my Batman mask. Rah! So here's the premise. I have an investor client. It's his first time investing. He's contacted a real estate agent who is apparently a mate. His mate is trying to flog him some high-end cash flow property in the interstates of Australia. This is what his mate is promising him verbatim. There's a promise of endless cash flow from this new property. And he goes to my client, "You want more cash flow in your life, mate?" Obviously a rhetorical question trying to target his greed. Because 80% of agents who flog high-yield properties or guaranteed developer rental properties, their greed-appealing argument is, invest in a property that covers your loan repayments and ongoing expenses using rent you are getting paid from your tenant. And that this property they're trying to flog you will do all that, plus you get some money left in your wallet at the end of the month. And do that enough time, which is another way of saying keep buying high cash flow properties from me, and you may even be able to replace your income and have financial freedom. Oh my God, I'm jerking off to that. Look, before I go to my counter argument, I do admit the appeal. Having a property that produces additional funds each year is very, very appealing. Because my counter argument is, would that additional $5,000 or $10,000 each year really change your life? And what if that yield stops? Especially developer guaranteed yields usually last only 2 years. And by the way, if your developer is guaranteeing your yield, they're usually managed by the developer itself. So the rates are really high in terms of what they charge you. And what if the yield becomes pretty shite? You're left with a crappy low growth property with no value at all. And of course the agent's not gonna tell you that. For like this, my client over here, the agent's saying, no, that's never gonna happen. Yeah, trust the agent. Because this has happened to many of my clients, and when my clients go back to the agent that sold them that property and confront them on this, 99% of the agents usually say this: it has not grown in value, I know, but at least it doesn't cost you anything. Are you effing serious? That's gonna make me feel better? Because by listening to his agent friend, you just compromise temporary yield for high capital growth. So I spoke to the client and I said, let's look at 2 examples. This is not financial advice, just data. You have 2 properties here, both $1 million each. One's in Kogarah and one is in Nunda in Queensland. The property in Kogarah has a 7% annual growth and the rent is 3% yield. Inflation is 2.5%. Whilst the property in Nunda has a growth of 4% per annum and the rent is 6% yield, very high, and inflation is 2.5. Let's look at the 10 years returned on each. This is just my own estimation, gain plus rent, 1.3 million in 10 years for the Kogarah property. But Nunda, gain plus rent, 1.16. The difference is $145,000. Let's look at 20 years, 3.6 million for this property over here. Over here, around 2.8 million. That's about $800,000 difference. Now those figures are averaged out and I got those data from RP data. And remember guys, when you buy a property, positive cash flow is only an outcome. It's not a strategic way of investing. If you're too focused on high yield properties, it's a very superficial way of investing. I have people in my comments say in my last video, you need both high yield and high growth. It's like me saying, I want my wife to look like Miranda Kerr, but I also want her to cook and clean. Haha. Oh, by the way, if my wifey is watching this, you are way more hotter than Miranda Kerr. Please don't kill me tonight. So guys, tell me what you think. You want to go for growth or go for yield? Or keep dreaming.